Hello. Did you have any questions? Okay. The final. The final is, let's see, your class would be 109. So it would be Monday from 2 to 4:30. But if you'd like to take it earlier, you can take it Friday at 2, or Monday you can come in 11 o'clock. So anytime after 11, and you want to be done by 4:30. So, but I will open it at 11 if you want to take it sooner. You still only have 2.5 hours. It shouldn't take you more than an hour. Maybe a little over an hour. There's 12 questions. Last day of classes is December 6th, but that's Tuesday. So our class is December 5th, which is Monday. Any questions? Okay. On As You Learn, this week's attendance is there, and then there'll be next week, Monday only. And then that will be it. There's no new My Math Lab. If you don't have it done or you want to improve, you have until, if you look under, I think it's at the weekly checklist. You have until December 14th. So any material that's not done, you can complete until December 14th. Cannot take anything after that. Final has to be taken, and it's 20% of your grade. The outlines that I've been doing, this one was the take home I did the Friday and Monday before break. We did these problems. And then these are the ones we've been working on. And we are on, so let me open this first. There it is. Right here. Exam 2, these came from the take-home portion. But number 5, the spread of a virus is modeled by V of t equals negative t squared plus 7t minus 4. Find the average rate of change from 3 to 5. Average rate of change between two numbers is slope. So to find the slope, we need to find the y value. Because t is time in weeks, and v of t is the number of people in hundreds with the virus. So it's the number of people infected. And we want to find out how it's changing from 3 to 5. We need to plug 3 and 5 in then in order to find our y value. You want to be careful. This is a -9. The negative is not being squared, only t. And we do the same thing and plug in 5, negative 5 squared plus 7 times 5 minus 4. I think it's 6. Oh, 6. And then average rate of change, which is slope, is your change in y over your change in x. So we just plug those in. 6 minus 8 over 5 minus 3 equals negative 2 over 2, or negative 1. Slope you can think of as a fraction, negative 1 over 1. Y was hundreds of people. X was the number of weeks. So as the virus is going from its 3rd week to its fifth week, it is decreasing by 100 people per week. So the decreasing is because it's a negative. And then it's 100 because 1 times 100 is 100. So as we go from 3 weeks to 5 weeks, or the 3rd to the 5th week, the virus is decreasing by 100 people per week. Any questions on that? B is instantaneous rate. Instantaneous rate is derivative. And we want that after 2 weeks. So we're going to plug in a 2. We take our virus and take the derivative. So instantaneous rate of change, derivative. 2 times a negative 1 is a negative 2t to the first plus 7. Just taking the derivative of this. And then we're plugging in 2. And this is the people, so hundreds of people, 300 people. After the 2nd week, the virus is still increasing by 300 people. Or in the 3rd week, one after this. So it's telling you how it changes after 1 more unit. And our X is weeks. So you could put in the 3rd week. Or you could put after the 2nd week. The virus is increasing because it's positive. And then Y is hundreds of people, so 300 people. So in the third week, the virus will still increase and 300 more people will have it. Any questions on that? Number 6. The demand price for beer is given by P equals 104 minus 2x. P is price in dollars. And X is cases of beer. Find the revenue function. Revenue is price times quantity. The price, 104 minus 2x. Quantity is cases of beer, which is X. Any questions on that part? To find the maximum revenue, we need to take the derivative and set it equal to 0. I'm gonna, because we do a lot of product rule today, I'm gonna distribute it. 104x minus 2x squared. Taking the derivative. The reason we're taking the derivative is we want to maximize our revenue. So to find the critical numbers, you take the derivative, set it equal to 0. When we take the derivative, we get 104 minus 2 times 2 is 4x to the first. To find the critical value, set equal to 0. Add the 4x to the other side. And divide by 4. $26, yeah. So 26 cases of beer will give us our maximum revenue. To find the maximum revenue, plug into the revenue equation. So our maximum revenue is $1,352. To find the price we're going to sell them for, we plug into our price equation. So we'll sell them for $52 each, or $52 per case. We will sell 26 of them and make a maximum revenue of $1,352. Any questions on that? X squared plus 3. Okay, when we're finding where something is discontinuous and you have a fraction, it's discontinuous wherever you have 0 in the denominator because you cannot have 0 in the bottom. That's finding your domain. You set your denominator equal to 0 and solve. So it's discontinuous at 6. It asks us to find then the limit as x approaches 6. When we're finding limits, the first thing we do is plug the value in, see if you get an answer. In this case, when we plug in 6, six squared is 36, minus 36 is 0. 6 minus 6 is 0. So that means there's a common factor in there, and we need to factor and reduce. So when you plug it in and you don't get an answer, then you got to go back and work with it. And 0 over 0 tells you there's a common factor. So factor it. X squared minus 36 is x minus 6 and x plus 6. X minus 6 is cancel. And plug it in again. Plugging in 6 plus 6 gives us 12. Any questions on that one? These next few are just practicing derivatives. Let's see. You do not need to simplify, but no decimals. So if we look, I'm sorry, if we look at the first one, f of x equals, make this a little bigger so we can see it, 6x to the 1/2 minus 4x to the 3/2. And then 3x minus 9. Okay. So we want to find the derivative. I would just use product rule. Boiling these, it's too easy to make mistakes. Product rule is first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. Writing the first, 6x to the 1/2 minus 4x to the 3/2. Then you take the derivative of the second. What's the derivative of the second? Anyone? So it'd be a 1. 1 times 3 is 3. X is 0 drops off, and then 9 is also 0. So it's just 3. Plus the second times the derivative of the first. Derivative of the first, half times 6 is 3x. Subtracting 1, we get a negative 1/2. 3/2 times negative 4 is a negative. 2, 6. 6x. Subtracting 1, we get a positive 1/2. Any questions on that? One with exponents, like I would not ask you to simplify. Any questions on it? Okay, the next one with the square root. I put that problem and number 4 together because there's a lot of them where, well, not a lot, but there's at least 2 where we're doing the fraction because of the average cost function. So I made this one a square root. So we will do both of these, but I want to do B the same way. We'll combine them. So if f of x equals 12 square root of x, and then we'll use the same steps. The point on the curve at x equals 1. We just plug it in. 12 square root of 1. Square root of 1 is 1 times 12 is 12. So that's our point. The slope of the tangent line at x equals 1. Well, slope of the tangent line is the derivative. So that means we need to take the derivative. When you have a radical, you have to rewrite it as its fractional exponent in order to take the derivative. And the square root of x would be 1/2. 1/2 times 12 is 6x. Subtracting 1, we get a negative 1/2. So that's the slope of the tangent line. We want the slope of the tangent line at x equals 1. One to the negative 1/2 is still 1 times 6 is 6. So that would be the slope of the tangent line. See. The equation of the tangent line at x equals 1. So the equation of the tangent line, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Here's our point. Y minus 12 equals our slope. 6 times x minus 1. And you should solve it for y. So we have y minus 12 equals 6x minus 6, and then add the 12. Any questions on that? Okay, we will do it again just to get practice. Number 4. point on the curve at x equals 1. And just plug in 1. 1 minus 5 over 2 times 1 minus 1. 1 minus 5 is a negative 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. So it's 1 negative 4. Slope of the tangent line, we take the derivative. This one's a quotient rule. Bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom, all over the bottom squared. Bottom 2x minus 1. Derivative of the top is just 1. 1 times 1 is 1, x to the 0 drops and just leaves that 1. Minus the top times the derivative of the bottom, which is just 2. All over 2x minus 1 squared. That would be the slope of the tangent line. We want the slope of the tangent line at x equals 1. So we plug in 1. Two minus 1 is 1 times 1 is 1. This is a negative 4 times 2, negative 8. So this is the first negative, and then this is negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8. All over 2 minus 1, 2. 2 minus 1 is 1 squared is 1. Any questions so far? Negative and the negative is a positive. 1 plus 8 is 9. So our slope is a 9 of the tangent line. To find the equation, we use this. And our point was 1 negative 4. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Plugging them in. Y minus a negative 4. The slope is 9 times x minus 1. Distributing the 9. Also a negative and a negative makes it y plus 4. This should be a minus. So distributing the 9, we get 9x minus 9, and then subtracting the 4, we get y equals 9x minus 13. Any questions on that? Any questions so far? Okay, this one here. Suppose the cost of a function is given by c of x equals x cubed plus 48x plus 1024. Find the production level that will produce the minimum average cost per unit and the minimum average cost. The production level is important because by knowing how many you should produce at a time, it's giving you the smallest cost per item. But in order to do that, we need the average cost function. To find the average cost, remember, average you divide by how many there are. And in this case, there's X of them. So the average cost function just takes your function and divides by X. Any questions? All right, this is our cost function. The production level are the critical numbers of your average cost function. So to find critical numbers, take the derivative and set it equal to 0. Quotient rule, bottom times the derivative of the top. 3x squared plus 48 minus the top times the derivative of the bottom, which is 1. This is a 2. All over the bottom square. Because we're finding a critical number, we need to set this equal to 0. So you would need to simplify. 3x cubed plus 48x. Here we're distributing -1, so negative x cubed minus 48x minus 1024 all over x squared. Any questions so far? Okay. I set it equal to 0. I'm going to get rid of the denominator by multiplying both sides by x squared. I am also going to combine some like terms. 3x cubed minus x cubed is 2x cubed. The 48x's cancel, minus 1024. So I combine these two, 48x's cancel, and then to get rid of the denominator, I multiplied both sides by x squared. Any questions on that? Okay. Solve for x. Add the 1024 to the other side. Divide by 2. Any questions so far? We need to get rid of the cube. You could take cubed root if your calculator has it. If it doesn't, you can take it to the 1/3 power. Either way. 3 exponents, 3 and 1/3, those get multiplied together. An exponent to an exponent is multiplied, so it's x to the first. The cubed root of 512 is 8. So our production level is 8. If we produce 8 cases at a time, we will have the lowest minimum average cost. So producing 8 at a time gives you the lowest cost per case. Any questions on that? Is everyone able to explain it? So it's telling you what's going to give you the lowest cost, as long as you produce 8 at a time. If you, oh, let's find it first. They also asked, and find the minimum average cost. That would be our average cost function. So we want to plug 8 into that value. Okay. When we solve this, this is going to tell us how much it will cost per case. I don't remember it being that high. I don't see this. Okay, this one was in cases of beer. I was thinking of the other problem. This didn't tell us what they were. But you want to produce 8 at a time and they will cost $240 each. And that's the cheapest you'll get it. If you plug in 6 or 7 or 9, they will all be higher than $240. Any questions on that? Find the derivative using the product rule. So 2x squared minus 5x times 6x squared plus 4. And it says to use the product rule. First times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. So we write the first and we take the derivative of the second, which is 2 times 6 is 12x to the first. And the 4 goes to 0. Plus the second times the derivative of the first, which is 4x minus 5. Any questions on that? Number 4. Find the derivative. 5 over x cubed. Okay. Now, if you were going to take the derivative as they are written, you would be doing 3 quotient rules. You have to do this one, and this one. You could get a common denominator and combine them, or we can use our exponent rule and bring these up before we take the derivative. Remember, when you bring it up, it changes the sign on your exponent. So by rewriting it, that makes it a simpler derivative. Any questions on that part? -3 times 5 is a -15x. Subtracting 1, you get -4. -2 times 3 is a -6x. Subtracting 1, we get a -3. And then a +2x to the -2. That's all it's to it. You do not need to rewrite them as positive values. Any questions on that? F of x equals (35x to the -2/5) plus 16x to the -1/4 minus x plus 3. Okay, so we want to take the derivative. Just like the rest, we multiply and subtract 1. (2/5) times 35 is a -14x. Subtracting 1, we get a -7/5. (1/4) times 16 is a -1/4x. x to the subtracting 1, -5/4. Distributed this one, -1. And 3 goes to 0. Any questions on that one? Last one's a product rule. Two x squared minus 5 over x. Bottom times the derivative of the top. Just 4x minus the top times the derivative of the bottom. And the derivative of x is just 1 all over the bottom squared. 4x squared minus 2x squared plus 5. Very long. We could combine like terms. 4x squared minus 2x squared is 2x squared plus 5 over x squared. Any questions? Awesome. Okay, we will stop there. Yeah, it's almost 10 till. I don't want to try and do a finance problem. We'll run out of time. But is there any questions on anything? What I told my other class, they had questions on the take home, although there are videos on all of them from look at Monday and Friday before break. I did one of every problem. But after class on, well, when we finish reviewing those couple finance problems, I will take any questions on the take home exam so we could work the problems out as long as we're working them out together. And the same thing on Monday. I'll take any questions on what might be on the in class if you have a question on any of that. But then the take home test. But if you do not have any questions, then I will see you on